Oh, hi, audience. What's up? It's Greg Sestero here to introduce you to the True Blue Riffcast, where they talk about amazing movies, bad movies, and everything in between. So you're listening to the True Blue Riffcast. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Greg. I am Jeremy, and with me, as always, is...
Hi, I'm Dave, aka Sugar Ray Dodge, etc. How are you? Happy Palindrome Day.
Happy Palindrome Day. It's 02022020. I mean, not when you're listening to this, but it is today when we're recording it.
Yeah.
It is also Super Bowl Day.
Yes.
And Pat Mahomes took the Chiefs to last-minute victory after the 49ers blew it.
They blew it. They were up by 10 with 9 minutes to go, and they just blew it.
Yeah. Mahomes getting Mahomes, man. That's what he does.
Not happy about it.
Kid's got a long, good
He's
career.
24.
Yeah.
He's like the opposite of Tom Brady.
And he's going to have a career like Tom Brady, I think.
Yeah.
Unless he gets injured really badly.
Which a lot of them do.
And, of course, it's not just Super Bowl Day, and it's not just a Palindrome Day. It's also Groundhog Day!
Where we celebrate that movie with Bill Murray, who I really don't like that much.
And I really don't understand that, Dave. Because by all accounts, he's a pretty decent fellow.
I don't know, man. By all accounts I've heard, he's a colossal douchebag. Just like,
I guess it just depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, I mean, at least he did a good job in Garfield.
There's always that. There's always Garfield.
I don't know if you can hear it, but I just picked up my glasses I hardly ever wear up off the nightstand, and they're like super dirty. So literally since the beginning of the podcast, I've been cleaning them all, riding with death style, just trying to get them clean again.
No, thankfully I cannot hear that, Dave.
I suppose we should start with the actual content of the podcast.
On today's podcast, we are going to be talking about the latest from RiffTrax, The Shape of Things to Come. The winner of this past week's patron poll, Doctor Who and the Daleks, and the first ever riff from Connor and Sean is finally here. It's a kid's guide to the internet. We will be talking about that in just a minute. But first, we're going to take a quick look at the weekend box office.
Box office.
Number one again is Bad Boys for Life. It's a very slow weekend at the box office this weekend. It only made $17.5 million. Followed by 1917, still hanging in there at number 2. Doolittle, the gorilla tiger nut punching movie, is still at number 3. The newcomer, Gretel and Hansel, coming in at 4th. And The Gentleman dropping down to number 5.
Where be Star Wars, The Rise of that Skywalker?
Still at number 7, so it didn't lose or gain any ground.
Yeah, it only made $1 billion. Such a failure.
Yeah. Hey, Jojo Rabbit is still up in 15th.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Taika Waititi just won the BAFTA award today.
And it was nominated for Best Picture, too.
Yes.
In the Oscars. I don't remember if we talked about that in the last podcast, but...
No, I don't think we did, but it's just the Oscars. Nobody cares.
Yeah, who cares?
I only care about Taika Waititi.
They're not going to have, what's his name, Andy, what's his name? Is that his name? Oh, Ricky Gervais host the Oscars.
Nope. They're not going to have anybody host the Oscars. They're going to do what they did last year and just have a bunch of random people show up and do stuff, which was fine. I didn't mind. I wasn't really paying too much attention, but yeah, I think you and I were probably chatting about something because we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's it for the weekend box office. No big surprises or anything there.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to take a look at our short reviews of RiffTrax Shorts today with the Kid's Guide to the Internet.
Yeah, shirts.
Oh my God. This, guys, Shauner and Connor, Con and Shauner. No, you're leaving that in just the way it is. Just the way it is. Okay? I don't care. If I sound like an idiot, that was great. It just goes to show you just like how excited I am that this thing this is like the perfect Riff Tracks thing. Oh my gosh.
Kid's Guide to the Internet is, of course, the first riff from senior writers Connor Listowka and Sean Thompson. It's their first riff, not counting the little bit they did in Batman vs Superman. We have been waiting for this day.
Yeah.
Basically, since before we started the podcast. I mean, we've brought it up anytime we talk about a Riff Tracks Presents.
Many times. Many times.
Yep, we bring up Connor and Sean and how much we have been wanting them to do their own riffs and strike out on their own, and they finally did, and they freaking killed it.
Dude, I don't know how it could have been any better. Because, I mean, well, I suppose we should talk about the actual short itself.
Yeah, the Kid's Guide to the Internet is very, very lame. It's an instructional video for how to use the internet if you're a kid and you want to have an internet computer party in your living room.
In the year 1997.
Nowadays, that has a completely different meaning, and we don't even want to think about that, but it's so cringy. Like, hey, gang, here's a good website that you might want to go check out. It's www.mtv.com. Like,
mtv.com. You didn't just see. I just slapped my cheeks with my hands and did the whole, oh my goodness, like that.
The Macaulay Culkin face.
Yeah, Macaulay. Does it translate?
No.
Does it translate to audio?
They're talking to their friends about how to use the internet. We get stuff like downloading a browser and getting set up with an internet service provider, which you need to put in your parents' credit card number for, kids. And
make sure it's okay to use it.
Yeah. And then we get some amazing footage of these kids browsing on Netscape Navigator and looking at the old websites for the Smithsonian and
for dude Yahoo. Oh my gosh, it was like, I guess the internet really was this stupid back then.
Yeah,
because I see these images, I remember it being like that, but I don't. Just as like a shock, because like all that was just so like new and like, oh my gosh, like mind blowing at the time. It was the 20th anniversary of Star Wars and the website. And I remember going to that website back then, and I was just like, oh no, and I had that kid's haircut too.
We get to see the amazing website of Jack Horkheimer, Stargazer, who was actually he was a PBS host. He showed a bunch of astronomy things on PBS. I actually remember seeing him a lot on TV. But oh my gosh, this.
But the thing is, okay, it's 20 minutes long, but it didn't feel like it was 20 minutes long because, and I think we have to talk about Sean and Connor's, not Shauner and Connors. Sean and Connor's.
We're going surfing on the internet.
Yeah, it's like, we are aware. It's just like the top notch, just like writing and riffing. It just seemed like such a cutting edge. It just seems so different from like what Riff Tracks Shorts has been doing. I mean,
yeah.
And I feel like,
well, it was one of the most recent shorts they've ever done.
Yeah. And it's just like, I wish they would do more stuff like this. Like, because like this is what attracted me to Riff Tracks in the first place, because they were riffing modern movies, and they were being edgy, and they were pushing the medium. Now I feel like, with this, I feel like they're pushing the medium yet again. It was just so refreshing, and so it's just like, no lie, I watched it 4 times in a row.
I watched it 4 times also, Dave. I even made a comment on the True Blue Riff Tracks fan group page about watching it 4 times because I had to.
Yeah, no, I
I
was like,
couldn't get enough of this
no,
riff.
it's just like when it was over the first time, even though it's 20 minutes long and it's $2, 20 minutes long. When it was over, I was sad that it was over. I was like, no, I want this to keep going. I want there to be more. Why isn't there more?
I haven't felt this strongly about a riff in a very long time. Like it's been a while since I've watched a riff and immediately started it back over.
Guys, so Sean and Connor, I don't know if you guys are listening. I don't know if you guys listen to this podcast or whatever, but this thing is one of the best things Riff Tracks has produced in years. Years. Keep it up, because it was just really, really good. You guys need to do a movie. And it can't just be, it's got to be something like this, not like a 2-hour log version of, Kids Guide to the Internet, but it's got to be something that's like, it's got to be something that's not in the normal. It's got to be something like Attack of the Super Monsters, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that, pushes.
Or Light Blast.
Yeah. Like.
Or Carver's Gate.
It's like all the ones that Jeremy wants. But yeah.
Oh, I would gladly take a Connor and Sean version of any of those.
Mm-hmm. But beyond that, that's kind of like, unless you have anything else you want to say about it, I think
some of the jokes in there that really got me, like the when one of the numerous times that the jingle is played in between segments, the wonderful "You going surfing on the internet." They changed that to. And I'm sorry that I'm subjecting every one of you out there to my singing. I do apologize for that, but they change it one of the times to "You're getting banned from Twitch for racial slurs," and that floored me right there. I loved it. There's just so much.
Yeah,
so
there's
much
just like so many. There's like so many riffs that
Do not go to whitehouse.com. Totally go to whitehouse.com.
Or like what does Janet Reno smell like? No, it's just so great. Guys, keep it up. We need you.
I know you guys have another one in the works. And I'm waiting with bated breath because this one has me all excited.
Movie.
Yes, please go to a full-length VOD as soon as possible, guys. That's what we want. So we're going to go from our shorts to the not-so-shorts, and we're going to take a look at the latest release from Riff Tracks, The Shape of Things to Come.
Oh, God.
Based on an H.G. Wells book from the 30s.
No, the hell it isn't.
So,
wow.
in this Canadian science fiction film, this is definitely a Canadian science fiction film. The Canadian accent comes out a few times, and it's great every time it does. But this movie is about something really dumb. It's the Earth has been destroyed by some robots, and most of humanity lives on the moon apparently, in New Washington, even though there's like a body of water outside one of the guys' windows. They have to have this anti-radiation drug, Radic Q2, which is only found and only made on the planet Delta 3, which is where Jack Palance is. And for some reason, they also have a teleporting suicide robot that doesn't do anything. That like doesn't kill anybody or anything. Like you would think if it's a suicide robot, it would kill people. Like.
No, but if it's a suicide robot, wouldn't it kill itself?
I think it's more like the suicide booths.
Booth and Futurama? Yeah.
I think that's the general idea behind it, maybe. I don't know. All I know is that this movie was bad, but in a good way. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm okay.
it's
Yeah,
not like
I
Sunset
got a
Strip
few things
bad,
to say about
but
this.
it's.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, that Sunset Strip's a pile of garbage.
I told Dave.
This actually has production value.
Yeah, even though it didn't have a very large budget. I told Dave earlier, and I stand by this 100%. This riff felt like going back to the sci-fi era of Mystery Science Theater. Like, it gave me this weird nostalgic feeling. Like, I'm not sure what it was about it, but it just made me feel that way. I had the same
Well, you
feelings
want to
I
know
did.
why I think that is? You want to know why I think that is? I think it's probably because this movie, in premise and in look, is very close to Space Mutiny.
Yes, it
But
is.
this movie is actually I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but this movie is actually a lot better than Space Mutiny.
Yeah.
I mean, it has like the costumes are better, the sets are better. It's better. It's better amazingly. It's has a better cast. The dialogue is better. It has better continuity. Just kind of like all around. It's a superior film to Space Mutiny, even though Space Mutiny came like 8 years later.
Yeah, and it's still terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
don't misconstrue this at all.
Yeah.
It's still terrible.
Now what? Now this starred the one and only Jack Palance.
Yep.
And I think that this is Jack Palance's second appearance in Riff Tracks.
He was in Hawk the Slayer previously.
Yeah, he was in. Yeah, that's the one other one I remember him being from.
And I don't think.
But I'm just trying to think if there are any blockbusters that he's been in. I don't think there have been.
I don't believe so.
Oh, did you know that this thing was actually released in theaters?
What?
Yeah,
I did not.
it had a yeah. No, it's one of those. It's like House on Sorority Row.
Huh.
It's one of those. It's like, wait, are you serious? Because I was like prepping for the podcast, and one of the this movie amazingly has a Wikipedia page. So I go to it, and now there are some things. I'm just going to read just from the opening paragraph of the Wikipedia page. And there are some things about it that just struck me, or maybe just only one, but here it is. H.G. Wells' The Shape of Things to Come is a 1979 science fiction film. Okay, although credited to H.G. Wells, the film takes only its title and some character names from The Shape of Things to Come, Wells' speculative novel from 1933. The film's plot has no relationship to the events of the book. The book predicts events such as the Second World War, the collapse of social order until a world state is formed, whereas the film involves a high-tech future involving robots and spaceships. The film is an attempt to capitalize... Okay, now this is where if I had been drinking something, I would have spit it all over the wall. The film was an attempt to capitalize on the popularity of such recent successes as Star Wars, and then the next one they list is Star Crash.
What?
I was like, what? Okay.
Star Crash? No, sir.
No, it's like, okay, what about Star Crash is popular and successful?
Nothing.
Okay. Like, and why would you want to emulate Star Crash in any conceivable way?
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Star Crash is a pile. I refuse to believe there's got to be like, oh, it's not cited. Like back this up, and of course it's not backed up.
Star Crash.
Yeah, Star Crash.
No. Yeah, I can see your reaction to that about spitting out a drink, because I totally would have just done that myself.
Like come on. But also, this movie was okay. Now this movie has Jack Palance in it, and Jack Palance is, he has some Hollywood clout.
Yeah.
And this movie was released in 1979, the same year as The Visitor, which starred John Huston and everybody else that was in that movie. And I got to think, what was going on in 1979 that like all these A-listers at the time were in all these garbage movies.
The world was preparing for your birth, I think.
It's possible because I was born. Okay, this came out. When did this come out? Release date May 4, 1979. So yes, in 18 months, Dave Chadwick will be born into the world. So we must have movies like we got to prepare. So we got to have movies like The Visitor and Shape of Things to Come. Yeah, that makes all kinds of sense.
This like there's just some things in this movie that okay, there's a scene where and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really paying the best of attention to the story at this point. They were going through this big giant purple thing in their ship, and when they went into it, they were now in a blue, like gassy space cloud thing, and everything went into slow motion. And like the one guy, the main character, is trying to get over to the woman who I actually recognized from the TV series Sledgehammer, and then they made the joke about it, and I was like, "Hey, I was right." But there's like this 5 minute long slow mo sequence. At least it feels like it's 5 minutes. It's probably only like a minute, but they get done, and the guy turns to the girl and says, "What the hell was that all about?" And Bill says, "Hey, we do the riffing around here." I just thought that was really good. And then we got a super deep cut toward the beginning of this movie when they were in danger. Their little moon base, New Washington, was going to get hit by a freighter, a space freighter, was going to crash into them. So they had to seal the dome that they lived in. And Kevin made a joke about, what if they have to blow the dome? And I'm not going to tell you what that's from. I'm not going to tell you guys what that's from. But it is a deep cut. Bill acknowledges it as being a deep cut. So that's how you know that it's really, like, this one's for...
The Ancient of the Ancients.
So it's from, like, the early days of Riff Tracks. So if you've seen it, you know, you're probably going to get it. But otherwise, you're going to be lost and you're going to be trying to look it up. So good luck! Actually, if you send me a message on social media, I'll probably answer it for you, or Dave, or whatever. But just in case you can't figure it out and you start getting frustrated. But
it's kind of like Jeremy has been known to do when he can't figure out stuff, like jokes that he remembers, and he messages me. I was like, "No, dude, that's totally wrong."
Like, Dave, what is this from? I can remember it, but I don't remember what the movie was that it was attached to. But yeah, this was a very solid riff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, it's not the most amazing riff I've seen you know, over the past couple years.
Oh yeah, it's really, really good.
This one was really good. Great job, guys. Great job. I really appreciated this one.
Hey Jeremy, how about we talk about the Patreon poll winner?
Yeah, how about we do that? This past week, the people had a choice between Viva Knievel, The Last Shark, and Doctor Who and the Daleks. And our winner was Doctor Who and the Daleks.
I kind of was expecting that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm glad it won. This is one of the movies that, for an extended period of time,
yeah, for about 2 years,
they did not have the rights to this one. They couldn't sell it for a while.
Yeah, it was like Crater Lake Monster for about a year and a half. It was just not available unless you had already bought it.
Yeah.
But then it came back around when they cut a deal with the BBC to do the Five Doctors in 2017.
Yeah, I remember writing a post about it. It was September 15th, 2017, when these became available for purchase again.
Nice. And, you know, they really are essential riffs. I think that this might have been because they were released in 2013 to coincide with the 50-year anniversary of Doctor Who.
Even though they really don't have much to do with Doctor Who, like the actual show Doctor Who, it's kind of like The Shape of Things to Come. They take some of the characters and they just kind of do their own thing with it.
So it's non-canon. It's like there's a joke at the beginning of there in the riff, like, oh, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I know all their numbers, and then it's to be like, this is not a number. It's like, what do you mean no numbers? Like, there's not a number. This doctor doesn't have a number. The world doesn't make sense anymore, right? It's this was actually the very first piece of Doctor Who media I ever consumed, ever.
It was the first piece of any Doctor Who media to also be released in color and in widescreen.
Wow. And it stars the late great Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
You know, before you could replicate him in CGI and stick him in like a dead-eyed fish in Rogue One.
Yeah, that was weird. But he plays a man with the last name of Who, and he is a doctor. So this is, instead of being Doctor full word Doctor Who, this is Doctor abbreviated, like someone you go to like get your ear, nose, and throat checked out.
Mm-hmm. And he's not a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey. He's just a guy. He's just, he's just Dr. Grandpa.
Yep, Dr. Grandpa. And he makes a time and space machine called TARDIS. Not the TARDIS, but TARDIS. And his granddaughters, Susan and Barbara's boyfriend, they all get whisked off accidentally to another planet. And what do they find there but the Daleks?
Okay, if you watch the movie, like all the way through, you could tell, like this movie and the next movie, really, it's a lot like the last two Harry Potter movies. It's like this BS ham-fisted like message about the value of fighting wars and shit. But it's the Thals like have to be talked into like defending themselves because the Daleks are going to come and wipe them out, and Doctor Who is going to be like, well, no, you cowardly freaks, you have to fight to war, right? And that's really kind of what it's about. And
the one good thing about this is you don't have to know anything about the TV show Doctor Who when you're going into it, because stuff is mostly explained to you. But, you get things happening like, welcome back from the edit.
It was Jeremy this time.
The doctor fakes a leak in one of the fluid tanks, and that way he's acting like the TARDIS can't go anywhere. And so, we got to stay here, might as well go investigate. And then they find the Daleks, and they find that the Daleks are going to wipe out the Thals, and they're going to detonate a neutron bomb to increase the planet's radiation so the Thals can't survive. And of course, Doctor Who saves them.
Yep. Oh, you know what? Also, I found out about the Daleks because, man, I'd heard of Doctor Who and the Daleks because at the time in 2013, I think that Matt Smith's Doctor, the 11th Doctor, I believe, was like fixing to wrap up his run, and it was like at the height of like Doctor Who mania.
Yeah.
Like it was on Netflix. It was everywhere. It was like the fandom was like at its peak. Now, not so much, but we're not going to get into that.
Nope.
But with regards to the Daleks, I had seen these things, right? Just like out there. And like a normal human being, I just assumed they were robots. I guess they're not.
Yeah, they're little alien squid creatures in robot suits.
And they murdered one, and they put what's his name inside the trash can.
Yes.
And they just kind of
right?
let the little slug thing. They just had left him on the floor to die.
Yeah.
They murdered the hell out of that thing, man. And it was like begging for its life, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter Cushing did not bring this movie up in his autobiography, by the way. I found that out. I read about that at the time.
Huh, I wonder why.
Oh, there's a scene where they're escaping the Daleks and they have to like swing over all Indiana Jones style. And one of the Thals that is just like a lazy butt, right? It doesn't want to do anything because that's like the thing with the Thals. It's like they throw the rope over to him, Raiders of the Lost Ark style, and the guy just lets it. It just hits him in the face, and like he's completely unfazed. Like, I'm not doing this. And then I think Mike or somebody like, it's like that's exactly how my cat would react if I threw a rope at.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then the whole thing ends with, okay, they escape the Daleks, and then, oh no, sequel hook, the boyfriend's an idiot, and he looks outside, and they're like in Roman times or something.
Yeah.
And he comes in, and it's like, oh no, this isn't the, this isn't, the present. And I'm freaking out. I'm going to be like, I'm freaking out. Take two. But the thing is that, but in the next movie, they don't pay off the sequel hook.
No.
They're just like, okay, forget about it. That happened, but we're going to like get rid of the boyfriend because I guess the actor wasn't available again. And we're going to replace him with this police guy?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was the doctor's granddaughter Susan, the doctor's niece Louise, and policeman Tom.
Yes, what was the name of that one? Doctor Who and
That is Daleks Invasion Earth 2050 AD.
2050. Wow.
That has one of my favorite all-time scenes from any Doctor Who media at all, like TV show or whatever. There's a scene where there's a Dalek and there's all these people, and somebody pushes the Dalek down the ramp, and it just wheels out of control down the ramp, tips over, and explodes.
Oh, right.
Like, I love that so much.
Oh, Jeremy.
Yes.
We would be remiss if we did not inform our fantastic podcast listeners that of Matthew J. Elliott and Ian Potter of Riff Tracks Presents fame have both written quite a few audio plays, Doctor Who audio plays that you can go and purchase.
Yes, they have each written quite a large number of audio dramas for the Doctor Who Big Finish stories. I think they've both at least written 7. There might be a couple more than that, but they have written quite a few.
Yeah.
And Matthew J. Elliott also has a book.
You're right, and it's a it's a guide to all things non-TV about Doctor Who. It's called Lost in Time and Space.
Yes, an unofficial guide to the uncharted journeys of Doctor Who, and it was actually just updated and re-released back in October of 2019.
I need to get, because I have the original version. I need to get the updated version.
So there you go, guys. If you are fans of the actual Doctor Who, go check that stuff out. If you have not already, it's all over the place. They have a bunch of the audio stuff in like the digital library collections, like at your local public library. So go check that out, and they might have some of the actual like disc ones there too. And that's gonna wrap us up for today, I think, Dave. Before we get out of here, let's update our Patreon poll for everybody who supports us at patreon.com/trueblueriffcast. You can head over there and you can vote on our Patreon poll this week. We are still going to have Viva Knievel, and we are still going to have The Last Shark, and joining them in the place of Doctor Who and the Daleks is The Wizard.
The Wizard.
The big Nintendo commercial for Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yes. It was the beginning of Fred Savage's big post-Wonder Years career, and what a career it was, which was just that movie.
Yes. He did a few
Oh,
other
you
things.
mean like The Princess Bride? Okay, we'll save some of that for later.
So you can head on over to patreon.com/trueblueriffcast and throw a couple bucks our way, and you can vote on the poll. You can get some interesting audio clips, some of which can be used as notification sounds for your phone. Others are just fun little outtakes of us screwing up or screwing around, and a few other little fun things that we drop in there from time to time. We do also put up on there a preview of the riffs we're going to be talking about each week, usually a day or two before we record, so you can know what to expect out of the next episode of the podcast a little bit earlier than everybody else. But for now, I'm Jeremy. You can find me at pbandawesome.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at pbandawesome. You can send me emails, jeremy@trueblueriffcast.com. And you can follow the podcast on Twitter at tbriffcast.
And I'm Dave Chadwick, aka Sugar Ray Dodge. Check me out on the web at Sugar Ray Dodge. Send me emails at dave@trueblueriffcast.com.
We will see you guys next week for the True Blue Riffcast.
Laters.
Rock,